Good evening. I'm Hannah Bingham, and welcome to Fire News, where your news comes in hot and live. Controversy arises over the Black Lives Matter movement after the Dallas shooting, killing 5 officers and wounding 12 people at a protest. CNN says the gunman was later identified as Micah Johnson, a military veteran that served in Afghanistan. According to CNN, upon finding the necessary materials and writings needed to plan such an attack, Dallas's police chief David Brown said, quote, "It's revealed to us this was a well-planned, well-thought-out, evil tragedy." Unquote. When confronted and negotiations tried to meet, Johnson, quote, told negotiators that he was upset about recent police shootings, that he wanted to kill white people, especially white officers, and that he acted alone, the police chief said, unquote. The dead officers are Brent Thompson, Patrick Zamaripa, Michael Kroll, Lorne Ahrens, and Michael Smith. We thank them for laying down their lives to protect so many others. However, controversy and outrage fills America as the Black Lives Matter movement perseveres, and 2 viewpoints seem to continually clash: the protesters and the police officers. On one side, protesters maintain their views that the justice system is corrupt. Officers are abusing power and even trying to create conflict. Protesters like DeRay McKesson from Baton Rouge speak out against this in his first-hand experience as he was arrested, although he, quote, complied with the officer's request, unquote. DeRay seems to be arrested for no real cause, and he furthers this statement by saying that protesters were following the police officer's instructions, but still being arrested throughout the weekend. McKesson states that we should be able to live in a world where the meaning of safety is not just the police. However, many of these statements are exaggerated and biased, as many officers aren't violent and continually try to do their job to the best of their ability. David Brown, Dallas police chief, was asked about the protesters, quote, who feel as though their lives don't matter as much to the police. What do you say to them, quote, unquote. Brown draws an analogy of a relationship where one person shows love and affection, but their partner does not, to show how he feels about the current protester versus police relationship. In this case, it's hard to say what will come of it, but the deaths of 5 officers has certainly left a country heavily mourning over such an evil act. Fellow police officers also mourn for the lost brothers in action, as the Huffington Post pulls a video of a female officer, Nakia Jones, speaking about the injustice of racism and challenges any officer guilty of it to their honor of swearing to protect their community. Her voice raises as the video continues on, saying, quote, "There are many of us who took this oath and we meant it," unquote. Surely a positive feedback for officers everywhere that are rooting for the sometimes silent majority, still wanting to make a difference and protect their fellow men in this country. In other news, Obama cut his trip to Spain short to speak tomorrow on behalf of these 5 officers who laid down their lives. We will be there personally to see you through the story. On the other side of the world, the Prime Minister of England is dramatically changing to Theresa May, who is described by CNN as a, quote, safe pair of hands for the UK. Prime Minister David Cameron is handing in his resignation on Wednesday for the new Prime Minister to take place immediately. May is conservative and supports very highly the removal of Great Britain from the European Union. She will be the 2nd woman ever to be Prime Minister, after Margaret Thatcher, and points out in an interview on CBS News her ideas that Britain needs to negotiate, unite the country, and, quote, build a better Britain, unquote. May is considerably moderate as far as conservatism goes, and is helping to bring together the shattered Conservative Party in this part of Europe. May is unopposed in her campaigning, and some are frustrated at this, as all of her fellow campaigners have dropped out of the race when it was clear she had gained the majority. This is not only frustrating to citizens, but frustrating to her campaign, as the 1922 committee has, quote, to approve her as the next Conservative leader, unquote. This same committee requires that there has to be at least 2 candidates. If they can find a way around this or prove that she is Britain's choice for the Conservative Party, all that's left to do is go to Buckingham Palace and have the Queen approve it, CNN says. Also in Europe, Andy Murray wins Wimbledon for the 2nd time, securing his place further among the Big 4 of tennis and into Wimbledon history. During a CNN interview, his coach, Ivan Lendl, says he sets the bar high. If expectations are high, then you'll perform high, and says that supportive parents, good coaches starting young, and hard work attribute to being, quote, great, unquote. Murray's last match against Raonic, quote, the first Canadian man to make a grand final slam, unquote, lasted 2 hours and 48 minutes, ending with Murray smiling and celebrating in relief and joy over his victory. Serena Williams also achieved some of her goals in Wimbledon this year as she reached number 22 on Saturday by beating Kerber, a player who had beaten her before. According to CNN, he says, quote, "I lost against a really strong Serena today. This makes it a little bit better that I know she won the match, not that I lost the match, because she played very well." Unquote. For many of these people, tennis is truly their life and passion, and the same goes for Serena Williams. Her coach claims that her losses beforehand had really hurt her, but that coming this far in Wimbledon had helped her get back on her feet and gain some of that confidence, though she disagrees. In other news, #NeverTrump is the new hashtag heating up for the convention in Cleveland this weekend, as the part of the Republican Party rejects the idea of Trump being their candidate. Even if Trump makes it with the nomination, parts of the Republican Party are using the hashtag #NeverTrump to pledge their allegiance to do just that. Never vote for Trump. CNN highlights this as non-supporters of Trump are asked what they will do if Trump is elected and why he shouldn't be elected. The answers ranged from difference of views to a, quote, sociopath, unquote. But they have made their point clear, hashtag never Trump. Sources used today were from CNN, Huffington Post, and CBS News. This is Hannah Bingham from Fire News signing off. Thank you for watching, and we will see you next time. Breaking news from BreakingNews.com as the Hayden Pass fire in Fremont County, Colorado, continues to burn, now at 12,012 acres and 0% contained. If you are in this area, listen to your local radio for instruction or evacuation. This is Fire News bringing you in hot and live. Stay safe and have a good night.